I'm Adam Manis.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Daily jazz advice coming at you.
Coming at you from beautiful St. Louis, Missouri, Open Studio headquarters. It's Track Analysis Wednesday. Just do it. I know you want to do it. There you go. Got this man a MIDI keyboard in the pod cave for one episode. And he's already incorrigible. Oh, breaking it out. Pitch bend.
All right.
So today we're doing Track Analysis Wednesday.
Yes.
That's Track Analysis.
Oh, I thought it was Play Along Wednesday.
I have a feeling that every day's gonna be
Man,
play
they got
along.
me in the mood, man. They're jamming.
It's pretty funky.
Yeah.
Enjoy that, podcast listeners. So this was sent in by listener Mick. Mick wanted to hear us do an analysis of this Herbie Hancock version of Cantaloupe Island featuring Pat Metheny, Dave Holland, Jack DeJohnette.
Damn.
Amazing band.
Super bands.
It's from a YouTube video. We're gonna post the link here in the
Show notes.
in the description, in the show notes. And so let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah.
For a solo.
Wait, can we go back to the beginning? Just can we analyze? Is that included in
Yeah,
this,
let's do
that
it.
intro?
Here
Because
we go.
man, Herbie comes in firing. Check out the time. Immediate. It's like you're turning a metronome on. And it's so great because, you know, he sets the... I'm trying to remember because I think does it say what year this is from?
It doesn't.
But, I mean, I remember hearing, you know, him play around this time, judging from how he looks. And I know he did this a lot of different ways, but the way that he plays that intro, like, sets the whole groove up and everything. And then DeJohnette comes in right with the way that because this is not the way the tune was written.
No.
And there's several different ways that he's played it over the years, but it's so creative. But mainly, it's just so much in this groove. He just
I love
sets
this
it,
groove.
lays it down.
I love this groove that they're setting up here. It's killing. And this band, man, first of all, everybody has such a distinct sound.
Yeah.
That's what comes to mind. All these players, all four of them.
Yep.
DeJohnette, Dave Holland, and Metheny especially have such a distinct personal sound.
Yeah.
It's
And
great
they
to
really
hear.
retain it on here without it becoming like a Clash of the Titans sort of situation.
Totally.
You know? I mean, like, that's total Metheny. It's not like he's changing his thing up.
I'm going to say this is mid-90s, just by Metheny's MIDI-ish guitar that I'm seeing here.
Right.
I think it's MIDI. That might not be. See that? What is all that there?
I was going to say if you went by Metheny's hair, but that's been the same since 1973, so...
Our YouTube watchers who are guitarists, let us know what kind of guitar Pat Metheny's playing there. All right, getting into Herbie solo. Hold on. Let's back it up. Back it up.
Coming in hot. Oh, I love that. So he's kind of, you know, first of all, he comes in really hot.
Yeah.
Because, like, the groove and everything, like, he's playing appropriately. It's a difficult place to kind of start your solo from because you're starting up there. But you got to do it when that's what the vibe is, when that's how the band's playing. You know, he comes in super rhythmic, you know, very... I wouldn't even say really aggressive, but like right there in the cut. But then when he got to this part, he kind of the first time he loosens up the time a little bit, a little drama built up through the way he's already structuring his solo. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with this tempo and groove in particular, like the like that 16th note feel, that is intensity to me. So
yeah.
I think, you know, I mean, you could do it a few different ways, but the way he does it is probably the way I would choose to do it.
Now that you've heard his version.
Yeah, no, I mean, only because I've been influenced by Herbie so much.
Yeah, well,
you
but
know?
the thing is, too, like, Herbie's so great at, like, there's going to be, like, drama and something interesting in the solo, but he doesn't, like, the kind of obvious dramatic thing is to sort of force it to be broken down at the beginning of the solo,
right,
after it's coming, like, really, like, grooving and hot. I mean, look, he's the one who set it up with the intro.
Yeah.
So he could sort of break it down and then build up from there, but that's a little bit of a lazy way to do it. And so to jump right in there is very confident because it's like, where do you go from there? You have to really get creative, which is not a problem for him.
Let's hear it again.
Triplets. That's triplets, right?
Yeah. By the way, for those listening, he used 2 hands for those chords.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. There's a lot of black keys in that passage, and
a little D flat 7/5.
I think he did 2 with his right, 1 with his left.
Little intonation issues. Not Herbie's fault. Blue scale. Not afraid of it. First counter melody. So check it out. So he's, on one hand, you could say he's playing very busy, but like now he's actually playing less busy than he did at the beginning of the solo.
That's right.
Jack DeJohnette's playing very busy, but like very, very like intuitive and interactive.
Yeah.
So I think Herbie's sort of feeling that. So then he kind of eases up. He was doing a lot of left hand at that first chorus.
Yeah.
He's almost going single line, leaving some nice space, but still like keeping the intensity of the rhythm of his lines going.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting way to structure it. It just shows you it's like you don't have to do the typical way of structuring, but you do need to listen to what's happening in the moment.
That's a great point. Listening to what's happening in the moment, and don't feel like you have to do it all the time. If you hear the drummer start to take over some of this energy, let them have it.
Especially if it's Jack DeJohnette.
Especially if it's but a good drummer will do it just right.
Yeah.
And you want that interaction.
Exactly.
And so you can hear Herbie. I'm hearing him do some repetitive themes or whatever, and letting DeJohnette fill in for the audience what should be happening. It's great, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? He's not, the whole concept, and I really want to just talk about this more this year because I used to back in the day, like 5 years ago. But I kind of got off of it. It's so important. Like, let the tune come to you. Don't chase around after the tune, like what it's got in it. So when you get to the solo, it's like he's not afraid of hitting that blues scale a lot. As you say, Jack DeJohnette is giving a lot of really cool rhythmic thematic things. So he's not, get out of the way. Like don't feel like you have to chase around after the tune. Let it come to you.
Absolutely. Whew. Man, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let the tune come to you.
Exactly.
Right there. He was hearing something, or was something just didn't feel like he had anything to say in that space, and he let it come to him.
Yeah, it was almost like a reset. Like he let things reset without forcing them to reset.
That's okay. Let's hear that moment again.
Yep.
Coming strong.
Yeah, exactly. And when he reset it too, it's not like bang, he waited and just hit on one. Matheny played some really, almost like a reggae kind of guitar thing there, and then DeJohnette sort of let it in, and then Herbie came at a place that was less than obvious, but right in there.
Awesome.
Herbieism number 7.
All right, but I want to comment on that Herbieism number 7. So that let's hear that one more time.
The casino lick.
It's a variation on the casino. No, but you know what? These textural things, like I consider that a textural thing. It has nothing to do. It's in this. The notes are in the scale or whatever, but that's not how Herbie's thinking about it. It's like I'm going to play the notes from the chord or whatever. It's a texture, and those things I want to stress are super important to collect when you're playing.
That's right.
For me, when I hear like a player who's not quite there, they don't have enough of that kind of thing. They're too in the changes. They're trying to work everything out evenly. There's no texture to their playing.
Yeah.
Add some textural things like Herbie has it, Chick has a ton, everybody has it. I mean, even all the way back to Art Tatum, a lot of those big sweeping runs are textural ideas.
And I mean, if we think about the things that Herbie's added to the sort of lexicon of jazz piano and to our toolbox, it's not so much, there's this lick, number 7 or whatever. I'm joking that it has a number, but it's the vibe that you get from that texture, and Art Tatum had him, and then like all these great players sort of added one little thing or 3 or whatever. Like we think about like the double diminished and all this stuff. Yeah, that's fine, but this is the stuff that it's almost like when you say adding that, like we think about our little toolbox, like you're starting out as a plumber, and then you see like an older plumber is like, oh, I've got this other tool for that time that I might need it for that special kind of piping. I've got it in the box, I pull it out at the right time. So then it's like you have those assets, those musical textural assets, And now you're using that combination of your musical taste, your experience, your confidence as to when to pull it out. So the young player is going to like pull it out immediately, like and throw it out at the wrong time on the middle of a ballad or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
So once you get and you can play it and you know what it sounds like, you'll pull it out at the right time. And I would say the texture of this, almost the way you described it, makes me think of, it's almost like a marimba lick. And I'm thinking like, Bobby Hutcherson.
Yeah.
There's
a roll to it.
There's a roll to it. There's
yeah.
a percussiveness. I mean, obviously the piano is always a percussion instrument, but it can be more of a string instrument. This is kind of a percussive texture.
A sustain even. You can think of it that way. You know?
Yeah. And it's just, it's hard to really put words to it, but it is important to identify it, and then you've got it. And you don't have to worry about copying Herbie or whatever.
Yeah, and you can find a ton of players that do this. You know who's really great at this is Robert Glasper.
Absolutely.
Has a ton of great textural ideas that come up in every context. So.
Yeah, and I think, for Glasper, for like a lot of these players, the exciting thing to see them in real time over the years as they develop, like he's had all that stuff for a while, but then he still is open to learning more, and as his musical experiences have gotten deeper and his musical conceptions have gotten more sophisticated, when he pulls those out and places those, it's like, man, is that like a new thing? No, it wasn't a new thing for him, but how to place it in at that time becomes so much more mature as he goes along. It's very exciting to see.
Very, very exciting. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Man, that piano's out of tune.
I don't think it's a Fazioli.
No. Yeah, this is pre-Fazioli.
By the way, those are 3 octaves he's doing. He's doing like 1 in his left and 2 in his right. I think.
And look how he comes back to the single line after that,
Okay.
Chromaticism.
Well, but listen to for me here, that vibe that he just created. We talked about this when we talked about Roy Hargrove's solo on Strasbourg Saint Denis.
Yeah.
That it was about somewhere towards the end of the solo, he kind of came down.
Yeah.
Roy Hargrove did. And here Herbie does the same thing. He just had a pretty big moment.
Yeah.
Not afraid to bring it down a little bit and use some space. Check that out.
And not ending it.
Not ending.
No.
I mean, he's good way into his solo.
Yeah. But that's some of the strongest sort of thematic rebuilding now, maybe. Now breaking it down rhythmically.
Totally just went out.
That's killer. Okay, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
So he got to the D flat 7, and then it went to D minor, the form, but he stayed on that. But it was like, are you going to get there? And he doesn't resolve it until it goes back to the F7.
He basically turned that D into a diminished chord, which we know is ambiguous and builds tension, and he used that to build tension up until it paid off. Check it out. Back it up even more. Hold on. All right, here we go.
And there's already this sort of chromatic, esoteric thing, the way he built that up.
Definitely a diminished thing.
And then up.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I got inspired there. So, I think what the thing with this solo,
Sorry,
one thing about it is, oh man, it's just
sorry, I won't do that.
No, it's just got, what it is? It's like it's almost frantic in a way.
Yeah.
But he's using so much sort of in the moment musical taste to curate it as he plays to a lesser player, which would be almost anybody but Herbie.
Right.
Like it would just have this sort of manic, frantic kind of pacing, but he's able to kind of sculpt it and like go back and forth and like in and out, in terms of like using the rhythmic intensity and dramatic stuff, and then that diminished. And I think that one thing I would caution everybody is like learn these different things, like the cascading thing and the diminished, but don't try to put this all together in one solo until you're on Herbie's level, because it will sound frantic and manic. But you can start to put these things together and start to think about when the vibe is right. And look, the way they played this tune from the beginning calls for if you can pull it off.
That's
calls for this.
That
kind
vibe was from the beginning. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Let's hear how he ends it.
Sets the piano on fire. Got to go to another zone.
Just keeps taking it up and up.
Yeah, and it's just like he's got to go somewhere else harmonically. He can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Man, there's so much chromaticism in Herbie's when he plays like this.
Yeah, that's another texture, that chromaticism. By the way, shout out to Dave Holland here, who's just, if you watch the video, he's so relaxed.
Yeah.
He's just staying in the groove. And you know what? We got a request to do Pat's solo, Pat Metheny's solo.
Yeah,
I think we should make this a part 2.
We're gonna have to, man. I can't take it, man.
Can't take it.
I don't know how anybody solos after that either. That's gonna be interesting.
So we'll hit this up. We'll hit this up on tomorrow's episode and continue on. This is a great performance.
It
man.
is,
Live
man.
performance. We'll have a link to the YouTube. If you're on YouTube, we'll probably have some kind of video version, right, Andrew? Yeah. Just a couple of house cleaning things. If you haven't heard already, we're doing a bit of a call for theme music for our closing credits. Credits. Like we have produced by Sheldon. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So send us a track. Send it to Andrew at openstudionetwork.com. And if we like what we hear, we're going to put it as the end music for a podcast.
Right. If we like what we hear and we think it's appropriate for the end.
That's right.
We might hear things we like. Don't be like, oh, you didn't like my track.
Maybe it just wasn't right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
well, until tomorrow.
You'll hear it.